KDIGO 2021 Clinical Practice Guideline for the Management of Blood Pressure in Chronic Kidney Disease. Here summary of recommendation, statements and practice points. Chapter 1 Blood Pressure Measurement. The recommendation number 1, we recommend standardized office BP measurement in preference to routine office BP measurement for the management of high BP in adults. Here, an oscillometric BP device may be preferable to a manual BP device for standardized office BP measurement. However, standardization emphasizes adequate preparations for BP measurement, not the type of equipment. Practice point 1.2, automated office BP, either attendant or unattendant, may be the preferred method of standardized office BP measurement. Practice point 1.3, oscillometric devices can be used to measure BP among patients with atrial fibrillation. Recommendation number 1.2, we suggest that out-of-office BP measurements with ambulatory BP monitoring or home BP monitoring be used to complement standardized office BP readings for the management of high BP. Now, Chapter 2, Lifestyle Interventions for Lowering Blood Pressure in Patients with CKD not receiving dialysis. About sodium intake. The recommendation is we suggest targeting a sodium intake of less than 2 gram of sodium per day or less than 90 millimole of sodium per day or less than 5 gram of sodium chloride per day in patients with high BP and CKD. Here the practice point shows dietary sodium restriction is usually not appropriate for patients with sodium wasting nephropathy. The dietary approaches to stop hypertension, DASH-type diet or use of salt substitutes that are rich in potassium may not be appropriate for patients with advanced CKD or those with hyporenemic hypoaldosteronism or other causes of impaired potassium excretion because of the potential for hyperkalemia. Now, physical activity. The recommendation is we suggest that patients with high BP and CKD be advised to undertake moderate intensity physical activity for a cumulative duration of at least 150 minutes per week or to a level compatible with their cardiovascular and physical tolerance. Now, Chapter 3, Blood Pressure Management in Patients with CKD with or without diabetes not receiving dialysis. What are the blood pressure targets? Here the recommendation says we suggest that adults with high BP and CKD be treated with a target systolic blood pressure of less than 120 millimole mercury when tolerated using standardized office BP measurements. Here the practice point shows it is potentially hazardous to apply the recommended systolic blood pressure target of less than 120 millimeter mercury to BP measurements obtained in a non-standardized manner. Clinicians can reasonably offer less intensive BP lowering therapy in patients with a very limited life expectancy or symptomatic postural hypotension. Now, treatment with antihypertensive drugs including RAS inhibitors. The recommendations are we recommend starting renin-angiotensin system inhibitors, that is angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitor or angiotensin 2 receptor blocker for people with high BP, CKD and severely increased albuminuria without diabetes. Recommendation number 3.2.2, we suggest starting RAS inhibitor for people with high BP, CKD and moderately increased albuminuria without diabetes. Another recommendation, We recommend starting RAS inhibitor for people with high BP, CKD, and moderately to severely increased albuminuria with the diabetes. Here the practice point shows it may be reasonable to treat people with high BP, CKD and no albuminuria with or without diabetes with RAS inhibitor. RAS inhibitor should be administered using the highest approved dose that is tolerated to achieve the benefits described because the proven benefits were achieved in trials using these doses. Changes in BP, serum creatinine, and serum potassium should be checked within 2 to 4 weeks of initiation or increase in the dose of a RAS inhibitor, depending on the current GFR and serum potassium. Hyperkalemia associated with use of RAS inhibitor can often be managed by measures to reduce the serum potassium levels rather than decreasing the dose or stopping RAS inhibitor. Continue ACE inhibitor or ARB therapy unless serum creatinine rises by more than 30% within 4 weeks following initiation of treatment or an increase in dose. Consider reducing the dose or discontinuing ACE inhibitor or ARB in the setting of either symptomatic hypertension or uncontrolled hyperkalemia despite medical treatment, or to reduce uremic symptoms while treating kidney failure. Estimated GFR less than 15 milliliter per minute per meter square. Mineralocorticoid receptor antagonists are effective for management of refractory hypertension but may cause hyperkalemia or a reversible decline in kidney function, particularly among patients with a low eGFR. Now, rule of dual therapy with RAS inhibitor. We recommend avoiding any combination of ACE inhibitor, ARB, and direct renin inhibitor therapy in patients with CKD with or without diabetes. Now, chapter 4, blood pressure management in kidney transplant recipients. The practice point shows treat adult kidney transplant recipients with high BP to a target BP of less than 130 mm mercury systolic and less than 80 mm mercury diastolic using standardized office BP measurement. The recommendation is we recommend that a dihydropyridine calcium channel blocker or an ARB be used as the first line antihypertensive agent in adult kidney transplant recipients. Now, chapter 5, blood pressure management in children with CKD. The recommendation is we suggest that in children with CKD, 24-hour mean arterial pressure by ambulatory blood pressure monitoring should be lowered to less than or equal to 50th percentile for age, sex and height. The practice points are we suggest monitoring blood pressure once a year with ambulatory blood pressure monitoring and monitoring every 3 to 6 months with standardized auscultatory office BP in children with CKD. In children with high BP and CKD, when ABPM is not available, manual auscultatory office BP obtained in a protocol-driven, standardized setting targeting achieved systolic blood pressure less than 90th percentile for age, sex and height of normal children is a reasonable approach. Use of ACE inhibitor or ARB as first-line therapy for high BP in children with CKD. These drugs lower proteinuria and are usually well tolerated, but they carry the risk of hyperkalemia and have adverse fetal risk for pregnant women. Now the method of blood pressure monitoring. Here, properly prepare the patient. Have the patient relax, sitting in a chair, feet on floor, back supported for more than 5 minutes. The patient should avoid caffeine, exercise and smoking for at least 30 minutes before measurement. Ensure patient has emptied his or her bladder. Neither the patient nor the observer should talk during the rest period or during the measurement. Remove all clothing covering the location of cuff placement. Measurements made while patient is sitting or lying on an examining table do not fulfill this criteria. Use proper technique for BP measurements. Use a BP measurement device that has been validated and ensure that the device is calibrated periodically. Support the patient's arm, that is, resting on a desk. Position the middle of the cuff on the patient's upper arm at the level of the right atrium, the midpoint of the sternum. Use the correct cuff size such that the bladder encircles 80% of the arm, and note if a larger or smaller than normal cuff size is used. Either the stethoscope diaphragm or bell may be used for auscultatory readings. Take the proper measurements needed for diagnosis and treatment of elevated BP. At the first visit, record BP in both arms. Use the arm that gives the higher reading for subsequent readings. Separate repeated measurements by 1 to 2 minutes. For auscultatory determinations, use a palpated estimate of radial pulse obliteration pressure to estimate systolic blood pressure. Inflate the cuff 20 to 30 mm mercury above this level for an auscultatory determination of the blood pressure level. For auscultatory readings, deflate the cuff pressure 2 mm mercury per second and listen for Korotkov sounds. Now 4. Properly document accurate BP readings. Record systolic blood pressure and diastolic blood pressure. If using the auscultatory technique, record systolic blood pressure and diastolic blood pressure as onset of the first Korotkov sound and disappearance of all Korotkov sounds, respectively, using the nearest even number. Note the time of most recent BP medication taken before measurements. Average the readings. Use an average of 2 or more than 2 readings obtained or 2 or more than 2 occasions to estimate the individual's level of BP. Provide BP recordings to patients. Provide patients with the systolic blood pressure or diastolic blood pressure readings verbally and in writing. Thank you.